Minnesota beating the Lakers 116-104. Let's take a closer look at Game 3. Anthony Edwards, that's all you need to know, took over the game in the last 5 minutes. Tied game. Edwards steps back over Luka Doncic, who was battling the stomach flu, hits the three. Edwards gives the Timberwolves a 3-point lead. Minute later, Edwards somehow finds Naz Reid, who makes the three. Timberwolves on a 6-0 run, and they lead by 6 30 seconds later. Minnesota up 5 now. Edwards back to work. Ant-Man driving past LeBron James and scores the layup. Edwards and the Timberwolves on an 8-1 run, up 7 and 1:10 left. Same score. Edwards, the long two. Anthony Edwards leading the Timberwolves on a 10-1 run. 45 seconds left. 9-point lead. Edwards kicking it to Jaden McDaniels. The dagger three. Edwards scored or assisted on all 13 points of the Timberwolves' 13-1 run to end the game. Timberwolves win by 12. They take a 2-1 series lead. All right, let's look at the Western Conference first-round playoff bracket. The Thunder are up 3-0 on the Grizzlies, with John Morant out for Game 4 with that hip injury. The lower-seeded Clippers and Timberwolves are up 2-1 on the Nuggets and Lakers, respectively, with the Warriors and Rockets knotted up at 1, entering Saturday's Game 3 at 8:30 Eastern on ABC.
Let's look ahead to some of Saturday's action with Kendrick Perkins, who's kind enough to stick around and hang out with us on Sportscenter. Perk, let's start with the Rockets and Warriors. Looks like Jimmy Butler is going to give it a go, but maybe not at 100%. So what does that mean?
It means a lot. I mean, when you think about what Jimmy Butler brings to the table, he brings life to Steph Curry, right? That bona fide second option stand that when Steph don't have it going the first, second, third quarter, Jimmy Butler is able to carry that load. And Jimmy Butler brings so much to the table. I call him a Swiss Army knife. He'll cut you everywhere but loose. You want steals, you want deflections, you want post-ups, you want cutting, you want shot making. He's going to give you all of that. So in order for the Warriors to even stand a chance, Jimmy Butler needs to be on the floor.
Mm-hmm. How much of a chance do you give them?
I had this series going 7 anyway. Okay. I had the Warriors in 7, but, you know, with Jimmy not being 100%, I'm kind of leaning towards the Rockets because you still need that extra guy that's going to go out there and be able to give you 20-plus if you're Golden State, outside of Steph and Jimmy, right? I thought that guy was Jonathan Kuminga, but obviously you looking, you know, him and Steve Kerr ain't seeing eye to eye. His confidence level is not there. So I'm looking at the way that Baby Jokic Şengün is playing right now, causing problems. Then Jalen Green heard the whispers, heard the noise all around, you know, national media and even in Houston, then bounced back with 38-plus. And I'm just looking at it and I'm like, the Rockets' identity defensively, they're not going anywhere.
Right. And a lot of talk with Dillon Brooks and Draymond Green.
Love it.
Expect another physical game.
Oh, absolutely.
In Game 3. Meanwhile, the Nuggets have squandered 2 triple-doubles from Nikola Jokic in the last 2 games, and the Clippers have taken control of the series. What do you see in Game 4 here in L.A.?
What I saw in Game 3. The Clippers are going to make them fold like clean sheets. Listen, the Nuggets have tapped out, man. And that's the effect of Kawhi Leonard Jordan, right, who's been the best player in this short postseason. I think when you look at him, what he brings, the tenacity on both ends of the floor, and I'm looking at what Ty Lue is bringing out of the rest of the guys. You got Zubac, who's looking like a top 10 center right now.
Yep.
Right? James Harden, true point guard facilitator. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, no way Denver's going to win this series or even come back. I think, you know, Jokic mentally is just fatigued.
Yep.
I did think, last but not least, Aaron Gordon, he's dealing with a calf injury. Michael Porter Jr., shoulder injury. So everything favors the Clippers, in my opinion.
All right, we'll see if the Nuggets can tie it up or if the Clippers take a commanding 3-1 series lead on Saturday. Perk, always.
And Brown, they played for Boston. Didn't matter for the Magic. They still found a way to win their first game of this series. How the heck did they do that, Shanae?
Defensively, you know, this was the second-best defense in the NBA over the regular season, and it finally showed up in the third quarter. They held the Celtics to 11 points, 3 of 17 shooting. But, of course, you mentioned the name Paolo Banchero. I mean, what a breakout season for him. He was tremendous. Him and Franz Wagner, I think, combined for 61 points. So they did it on both ends, offensively, but more importantly, to get the Celtics, they also held it down defensively.
Game 4 is Sunday in Orlando. All right, let's move over to Minneapolis. What a game. Game 3 for the Lakers and Timberwolves. LeBron's 38 points go to waste. It wasn't enough as the Timberwolves found a way to take out the Lakers and take a 2-1 series lead there. What went right for Minnesota?
Look, we had a all-time great performance by LeBron James, 38-10. I remember at halftime we were talking about it was his 100th time of having, 20 points at half. This was like destined for the Lakers to win. But Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves had an answer. How did they do it? They were just gritty. They were tough. They were physical. And Ant, just making plays down the stretch. He was double teamed. It didn't matter. I believe he finished for 29, 8 and 8. So he did it all over the court. This was a gritty win through physicality. And I also love what Julius Randle is bringing to the table. Like, it takes everyone for the Timberwolves to get this win, especially on a night where LeBron James was just straight up historic.
And Luka Doncic was not 100%.
Yeah, he was a little under the weather, and you could tell.
Yeah. Game 4, Lakers-Timberwolves on ABC this Sunday. We'll all be watching. Janae, thank you.
Always love you.
LeBron James with 38 points. Not enough, though, as the Timberwolves take Game 3 to go up on the Lakers in their series. Here's James with his post-game comments.
Well, obviously, with his illness, it impacts our team. We understand what he brings to our team and what he's done since the acquisition. So, it definitely took a big blow for our team.
You've been down 2-1 before in a series on the road. What are the most important things you guys have to do to bounce back for that Game 4?
We got to control the controllables, and I think we did that tonight. Obviously, 19 turnovers on the road is not going to be a good ingredient for winning. Giving up 30 points, off those turnovers. They had 20-plus points, in transition as well. So, we got to control the controllables, and if we do that, we give ourselves a good chance to win.
You've shown an appreciation for Ant Edwards' game when you've been asked about him over the years. Tonight, you guys were able to, I guess, enjoy like a joyful, competitive nature between the two of you, and then he just was able to kind of just control the action at the end. How tough is he at this stage of his career to contend with in a playoff situation?
Obviously, you're only as great as your teammates, allow you to be as well. And obviously, you guys know how much praise I have for Ant and his development over the years. And, we had a hell of a summer, and I love everything about Ant. But in the course of a playoff series and things of that nature, when you have your guy step up for you, it allows you to be able to crack the seams of defenses throughout the course of the game. And I thought, the game ball went to Jaden McDaniels. He had 30 and he was aggressive from the start to the finish. I can't remember the last time he took over 20 shots. So that just lets you know what his mindset was. And Ant was just Ant. So.
LeBron, you guys tied the game at 103 with 4:37 left. They closed the game on a 13-1 run. I know you referenced some of the miscues, but was there anything that stood out over the final 4.5 minutes that they were able to do to create that separation?
I can remember some plays, but not all of them. But I'll have to take a look at the film. Obviously, I think it was a tie game. He said 103. Then Ant hit the 3, right? Top of the key. We came back down. I believe missed the shot. And then Ant drove baseline and found Nas for another 3. I guess I can't remember, huh? No, they just made plays, man. We had opportunities. I think Rui had some good looks. AR had a good look as well. We just couldn't make them go.
LeBron, I think it was in mid-January, after a loss to the Clippers, you and JJ talked about how the margins at that point in time were really tight. You guys have been able to create margins since the Luka trade. Did tonight feel like a night with Luka not at full strength, with the turnovers sort of mounting? Do you feel like the margins you guys just eventually ran out of room?
Well, yeah, first of all, in the postseason, there is no room for error. In the regular season, you're able to make up for certain things throughout the course of the regular season, where you can have a little bit of room for error. But when our team was constructed at one point, then in the regular season, we didn't have much room for that as well. But in the postseason, obviously, you're not going to play a perfect game. But the more that you make mistakes on top of mistakes on top of mistakes, things that can be controlled, then it's not going to give you an opportunity to be in the best possible chance to win. They had 13 more, goals at the rim than we did, and pretty much that could be the game right there. You have 13 more. We have 78 attempts. They had 91, and it's just with turnovers, live ball turnovers.
What do you guys need to do to get the?
Still got a great recall for the game, and he's still performing at a very high level. He'd rather have the wins than the personal stats, but LeBron James became the oldest player in NBA history to score at least 35 points in a playoff game. That distinction previously belonged to Querim Abdul-Jabbar when he scored 32 for the Lakers in Game 6 of the 87 NBA Finals.
Chủ động phải đến từ hai bên. Huyền ở dưới, hình thành ở trên.
Chị chắc mày nói thế được. Nó từ đội thành thôi vậy. Đâu đến đoạn này.